map that really suits the two teams, that we get to see some actual changes. And speaking of which, production heard me and instantly put that map ban section on. Border and Clubhouse will be our two auto bans, as these were played by the two teams previous play day.
All right, Kafe.
We're going to go to Kafe Dostoyevsky.
I remember when LATAM used to just not play a lot of Kafe, but now they definitely will be.
I mean,
this is a Team 1 favorite map, though, because this is the one they beat FaZe on. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that was 7-5 victory. It got really close between the two. As usual, we had a Thatcher ban on the map, but we had a Valkyrie ban from FaZe Clan on that.
Could see that again.
Itself.
I mean, we'll see what Black Dragons want to bring, but their match on this map against Ninjas Pajamas, they didn't fare so well. There's one that they lost, and so, like, right now, interesting, Black Dragons were the one to choose to go to this map. And the reason I say that is because you see they had the last ban there on Coastline. That means they had a choice between Coastline and Kafe. They chose Kafe. So that was their choice to go to this map over Coastline.
I wouldn't be surprised. This is the only team that would really go, and we talked about this in the previous season, the only team in Latin America that would actually pick and go to Coastline was Team 1. And
it's so ironic, though, because there's such a frag-heavy region, and that's like the most frag-heavy map. You don't need hard breachers, which they seem to be sometimes allergic to.
It's so weird. Difficult for us to predict it. They're like, where's my coin? Let me just flip it and tell you what I think.
Well,
here's
not
what
a coin
you guys
flip here,
think.
though. Definitely Black Dragons favored. I mean, to be fair, with the way Team 1 have been playing overall, like in terms of results, yeah, that's fair. It's not great for Team 1, but at least this map, knowing the map now, and we sometimes mention this is obviously that vote came through before the map was known. Had it been after, maybe that would have changed things. But then again, I think a lot of people voting probably don't look at map records first, anyways.
I don't know how many thousands of people vote on this. I'm sure our production team can tell us asking socials, but yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see that, it doesn't really matter in the end.
Who knows? Either way,
rooting for your team to win if you think that they're the ones that are just better in the end.
And that's the thing is, normally I would favor Black Dragons, but given the previous results on this map, chance Team 1 could take it. Obviously, these operator bans, as you mentioned, could be a factor as well. Thatcher bans are not only extremely common in Latin America, they're also common on this map now, even in other regions. So probably going to see a Thatcher ban. And I'm not the biggest fan of that, just because it makes for a lot rougher of a match overall, because there ends up being a lot more just reliant on getting picks or getting angles to gadgets and things like that.
But it does mean that the defenders can kind of play around a bit more flexibly when it comes to their
defenders a favor. It honestly doesn't necessarily make that much of a difference in Latin America, but for those who are not seeing it yet, Thatcher is the first ban. Yep. It had to happen.
We're so surprised.
Yeah.
What? Oh, dear me.
Me oh my. Could it be?
Shinderu. Nani? Thatcher ban?
No.
No way.
How can this be? Maverick, a second ban there. Always an interesting one for this map, but it does pair with the Thatcher ban. Could mean we see some Kaed play. Cade. Mira next. Last ban, though. Maestro, Echo. Will we see the random Mozzie or Goyo that we sometimes see now? Nope, the usual Echo. I really hope we make some kind of adjustments. I know there's the one on the TTS. For those of you who don't keep track of the TTS, there's a change on the TTS that is meant to help address Echo a little bit, which is to give Dokkaebi now the ability to not only phone call Echo, because before apparently the number was blocked, but now also to hack the drone when you hack all the cameras. Not to control it, but to hack it as part of all the cameras. I don't think that will be a strong enough counter to really make him not banned, but we'll see. We'll see. It's on TTS right now.
It puts a lot of reliance on one operator, which usually is not the...
We did see a fair amount of Dokkaebi last night from NA, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, but then you just banned the Dokkaebi.
I know.
Well, suddenly...
Oh, no. But then you can't ban Thatcher, too.
Oh, man, our laughter is going to sound even weirder than the usual, thanks to all of the...
Yeah, both of us need replacement throats at this point.
Honestly.
Cyber throats. I'll just take a toilet paper tube.
Cyber isn't playing yet.
No. Later. See what Fellapox does with this Goyo, though. See where these shields go up. I'm always interested to see those positionings. Tend to get one a pixel spot where Fellapox is right now. He's going to set that up. That is pretty much standard. You're going to use one there because it's such a strong position. The interesting part for me is the hole in the bathroom that you see right near Philpox, where Falls is at. That's a strange rotate to have. And it could be so he could fight from that reinforced wall to try and counter even heavier and help support the player, or even let the player on the shield right there be able to rotate around and fight from different angles.
I like this.
This is going to help with that. Provide a little bit more information on what's going on around the corner without him having to peek wide.
You have a 2-2 with a Vector, so you can shred players if you want to.
Good to see more Vector players too, just to balance things out with the TCSG. I think maybe it's a little more LATAM-sided in terms of Vector play.
I think both guns really do have their their great like, I don't know, places to play. You can run the Vector, and it's a very strong weapon up close to medium range. TCSG usually snipes medium to long range, but you can still spam it up close if you do it correctly. So overall, it can do work, but I like the use of the castle barricades.
That though traps him in the bathroom, with the exception of a rotate that he has to cross his own hole to get to, and that's dangerous.
It is very dangerous.
That is a do or die kind of position.
I think it really does rely on Team One being able to get picks on other parts of the map to kind of thin the numbers out.
And obviously, the castle barricades more so for the window, or a flank that comes up from white.
Again, breach charges have been such a big deal nowadays that putting things on windows when they're so open, unlike where you have it on Banana on Bank, it's very easy to deal with those breaches, with those castle barricades.
Yeah, so you want to put it on the door, force them to actually be inside. You see one of those windows open right now from Rise, trying to defend both the white stairs window here. Which you see has actually been prepped for a jump out if necessary. Although he could actually be encountering Hornetau soon if Hornetau comes up the stairs. But a bit of droning as well to identify at least some of these player positions up top.
I like the fact that Team One have so many angles that they can use to kind of fire into any attackers coming down from below.
They're just waiting really for what Black Dragon's approach is going to be.
Yeah, and you don't really need to move out because you have Evil Eyes everywhere. You have players in power positions. You see the Maestro sitting on his own.
He's actually taking a bit of damage, surprisingly, already.
Yeah, it's a bit, because I think he got shot from the window.
That's probably why you saw him up on the thing as well to dodge the buck here.
Exactly, and he can fight back. You also saw there's a lot of holes that have been opened up by the buck, but also the Maestro had a few holes opened up himself thanks to Aleph.
Well, he's looking to see if he can catch that buck off guard, and Fellbox actually just waiting patiently for an engagement here.
He's trying to strike onto Reading Room, but he's got to be careful. You can't make too much noise.
He doesn't have the range advantage here.
Oh no, the Ash! There you go. Yep. Easy kill. Actually saved Hornetau, but not for long. Reduct. He's going to be able to find the buck downstairs. This has wasted so much time. There's 16 seconds left, and Black Dragons have not done anything so far to enter in. You try to come in, Rise waiting for you. Falls will get another one. Laconis will dive in, get shot instantly by the castle. Wag's going to be able to trade off with one player on his own, but top of the bar, he'll be mixed, but not stirred.
Big problem with Black Dragons that round is they didn't know where to attack from. You saw a few different prongs trying to sneak in, Buck especially from Reading trying to do something downstairs, but they never really found a solid entry point. Everywhere they tried to go in, they were countered in terms of trades at the very least, especially the two from Castle. They just never had a solid spearhead of approach. Basically, Team One were everywhere they needed to be for the most part, and even that move by the Goyo going for the play on the Buck, since it was traded by the Maestro above, the Buck actually kind of worked against himself with those holes. So really well played by Team One in terms of patience, not overextending themselves, making sure to trade the losses that they had, and getting a 2K here or there. Just really well played defense, and that's part of the problem with attacking Bar, is it can be very hard to kind of find a way in on that attack because of where Maestro was on the cocktail. Very difficult to deal with. We'll see how they fare on Reading, though. This is where they've got to defend cocktail and the floor below. This becomes a bit more difficult. See a nice camera going up there inside dining, which is smart because you're not usually going to play in dining, but you want eyes on it. You want to make sure they don't sneak in on you. So that way you play from outside it, from above it, things like that. So I think that's smart to have the extra cams there. As you mentioned with the Evil Eyes last round, about having those extra cams around to make sure that there wasn't really any holes in the defense that were easily exploited without offering a chance to rotate. We'll also see the Kaid this round to be able to help possibly defend some of these walls even, possibly from the freezer. Looks like he's got the freezer wall here prepped. Nice thing is you can put a Kaid below as well, but looks like he's got to put it above, just on the slip here. that may keep it unexposed. I'm not sure the exact angles you have to be at to be able to shoot that. He's going to try and keep that alive as long as possible because that really is going to slow the approach. They have a thermite, and the usually use of the thermite is either top of red stairs and or the freezer wall. So, Kai in an important position if he can stay alive, and with one electrical in his pocket, the Thatcher's not available to remove it, so it is going to be very difficult to deal with. The IQ will likely spot it, but again, whether they can get an angle on it is hard to say.
Yeah, and in general, this is why you bring the buck, right? You can snipe the electrical claw with a grenade.
Yeah, but the position he was at on it looked difficult, possibly. So you see him looking for it right now. He sees that there's electrical on the wall.
It is a standard strategy there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's nothing different about this. It's just Black Dragons are taking their time. It's been around a minute now, and they've finally taken control of that roof. They'll be dropping down and they'll be forced to contest and go for gunfights soon.
Yeah, well, they probably need to sooner than later with the Black Dragons, at least because of how long it took last round.
Actually, with the reinforcements that are being set like that outside in, so with the red part of it facing out, it makes it way more difficult to snipe an electrical on the other side. Even tossing.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what he was going for. You saw him trying to get the exact position, like opening up the top of the wall first.
And it's still very difficult just because if that red part is on the side of the attackers, there's just something with the hit detection, the collision there, that just makes it complicated. Regardless, Rise is going to take a lot of damage here and close to dying as the caught. You can see one of those breaching grounds being used. Not sure if it got burned off by something, but there's the grenade from Hornetau. It actually hits. Fellapuck is going to be taken out here on the mute. I wonder if he was playing inside of the bathroom, because that was pretty much at that spot there. It's pretty easy to finish him off in that position. And definitely looks like it right now. Redoct knows that red stairs are a bit difficult to deal with thanks to the gridlock, but coming up the stairs, gets shot down. Wog on the reverse rappel, be able to find Rise. That's definitely an angle that's very difficult to play with, especially the reverse rappel when you just don't get shot that easily. Redoct is looking for a nitro potentially here, and Team 1 left with 3 players. There's so many drones being thrown their way. They're going to get scouted easily.
Well, with a huge man advantage here for Black Dragons and no damage done on them, they just have to do something because 20 seconds left. Doesn't matter how much man advantage you have if you don't do anything.
Oh my! Live the drop out of nowhere there, off the top rope. And it leaves only Falls alive, not for long.
So close though to denying that plant.
But this is what you should be doing, though. Hornetau might have taken a moment there to get into position, but oh my god.
Great teamwork.
That was great teamwork there. Pre-fires into the hole that was preset by the defenders themselves because they're trying to fight people in there. You couldn't hold on to Cocktail long enough. And this is a problem that might have been... We spotted it in the first round, but it really came back to bite... Team 1, I guess, in the second one, is just having no way out of that bathroom.
Yeah, you really don't want to be trapped in positions. If they're able to get a man advantage like that, yeah. Because you saw the first round, the big advantage they had was good coverage everywhere. Once they lost 2 people, you knew there was going to be huge holes in that coverage. And all of a sudden, if you trap yourself in positions, those become traps instead of bunkers.
Defenders, protect
it's a big problem. We will see them go down to kitchen, though. So they're not going to repeat reading. They're going to try going down another floor. See if that works out a little bit better. That was really just down to like much better kills early on that round, but still poor time management in a lot of respects, though, for Black Dragons. If they could be swift this round, and usually the swift part is either taking bakery and then moving positions from there and like opening walls, or taking dining and starting to be able to position from there and then opening up freezer hatch. Because usually you want good coverage from freezer or from the flank of freezer, which is often going to be either the back where at the bottom of white or over from the dining side. Looks like we might have a slight hiccup there in the stream.
There you go.
Some buffering.
Let's get a bit of water. Close your.
It's to build suspense. Don't worry. It's totally intentional. While Milos dies. Might just be a slight internet hiccup. Unfortunately.
Oh man, I'd like to have a hiccup right now.
Yeah. You sure you want that on top of coffee?
Honestly, it's like there's something burning in my nose. This is basically what the broadcast was at the Pro League Finals in 2017 in Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
Like the PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, that was
a great video.
I wasn't at it, so I was watching the PowerPoint presentation online, and it was not great, unfortunately.
That was a great Pojo video, by the way. Highly recommend it. Those were olden days. Yeah, this is the strategy we've been seeing with Kai a lot more recently.
Yeah, finding a way to just get it in positions that are very difficult to get without compromising your positioning yourself.
I would love to give you a radio cast, but it's not like we can see more than you. Yeah. Radok's going to find one kill in Hoarder Tower. I'd assume that was a great kill there that he was able to find.
Must have been. Well, this is definitely going to be very strategic. It's turn-based combat. Now it's Redux' turn. Heroes turns over.
Heroes of Might and Rainbow.
Lucan's turn now. Rise's turn now. He passed.
I can say that.
Did get a kill.
Heroes of Might and Magic is owned by Ubisoft.
There you go.
So, here we go.
Redux low on health.
It makes sense.
It looks like huge advantage to Team 1, though, despite that low health. Looks like might still have to deal with some of these problems. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's clearing up quickly.
At least we know that we're still on Kafe.
That is good, yeah. But time slowly dwindling down. Still a lot of it left, though, for Team 1 to really shut out Black Dragons.
Do we really know if there's a lot of it or not?
Well, I mean, at least from the state of things we're seeing at the moment.
The state of the game?
Yeah.
It's an old
I think we're slowly getting further behind, unfortunately. Redux has taken a bit more damage in the meantime, but still not enough to kill him, and that's what matters. You could take someone down to 1 HP, and they can still proceed to kill all 5 members of your team. You just never know.
Because that health, it works both ways. Wait a second, that's not how it... That's not what it is.
He's contagious, oh no.
Oh, technically I...
That's true.
Oh, Wog's trying to come in here. The tracks have already been used, and Falls is going to some rotation. Somebody just died. Assume it's Falls there. Thanks to Wog. Is there a drop? Diffuser's been dropped. Drop?
What could be happening during this last minute?
You need to skip the turn when you're...
Oh, no. It's all the way down to the last turn for live. He gets all the turns for his side because he's the last remaining. But does he have initiative? That's the real important thing here.
You got to roll that D20, boy.
If his attack is in the wrong order,
I mean, it's Ash. Flanked. Ash definitely has the highest initiative out of all operators.
True.
And the highest speed. So you'd assume Ash would be...
But he's got 5 others to take turns, so that's definitely going to hurt.
This Redux is going to be taken out. It's a critical hit. And, well, you have to run in. There's not much time, and there's a lot of soft walls. Right now, the Dungeon Master is laughing at you because you think you're going to take it.
I don't think his saving throw is enough for Black Dragons right now.
No.
Looks like versus paralysis at the moment. So, unfortunately, yeah. Just for those who are unaware, we receive the broadcast of the match from Latin America, from Brazil. So because of that, if there is a connection problem between all the way over here and all the way across the ocean here in Poland, there could be problems. They're still playing, though, just to be clear.
I didn't think that I'd have to actually leak this, and I might get in trouble for saying this. But Ubisoft, I'm very sorry to finally announce it. Rainbow Six tabletop game coming very soon to a store near you, as well as maybe potentially Monopoly here.
Yeah.
So
looks like we're smoothed out.
This has been your E3 a bit early.
We're back in real-time mode. So, Team 1 with another good defense. It just seems like reading was a big problem for them.
Yeah, somebody invested in the right stats. They got the right rolls.
Yeah.
I don't know why. You know what? I played Dungeons and Dragons literally like once, and here's my experience of it. This is me playing with Shas and a crew of friends.
Wait a minute. We skipped ahead a whole round that we missed.
Did we? No.
We were on Kitchen on round 3.
Yeah, now we just started.
Now we're on round 4. Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
What am I saying?
Devin!
I'm just trying to think.
Did you roll for initiative?
No, I was confused on how.
What's your perception roll for this round?
It's low. I invested too heavily in charisma.
That's actually exactly what I did.
I don't notice what's going on, but I'm sure charming about it.
I played the Red Dragon Prince with Shas and Dakian and a crew that was back in the day. And honestly, my rolls were like perfect in everything. I had like awesome strength, charisma. They're like, wow, this is insane.
Your constitution was off the charts.
And then in the end, it's like perception 2.
Wow.
How bad bad can this get?
Like 6 pairs of glasses at once. And for the
optometrist out of everyone, is like the guy could literally be hitting next to me, and all I would call is like I swing randomly in the air, and potentially I might hit someone.
Well, how was your luck stat, right?
Oh,
there's luck stat.
That's a luck stat. He's
going for a second, almost could pull it off. I like the castle barricade as well to slow down their entry, but Lagonis, don't push this. You have nothing. Bring the Zofia up to counter. If you just hit the shield, just clear the ADSs. Here we go. PZD, hit the shield, and guess what? The fire comes out.
Is there?
And he can't sit there anymore.
There's a castle barricade.
2 ADSs. It looks like they're both cleared.
Yeah, but there's a castle barricade protecting Cigar. You can just pop that and then fire into the guy that's sitting there.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on, man. Like, this isn't the first.
All right, one shield down. One shield down. PZD this is a bit of damage, but
this has been happening like a lot. I don't know how this is.
Mysteries.
Yeah, I don't know. Last time we saw Team Liquid doing something.
Well, I like how you had the castle barricade prepped, though. He had hit enough just to hit one more time to get out.
There's Radek with one more. Hornetau is down, and more drones are being lost, which, of course, on this site is awful. Pretty much on every site. But in this one specifically, he's like, well, where's the Maestro? Where is he going to kill us from?
Pixel.
There's the Goyo. Why are you peeking this? I don't know. You probably shouldn't. And now you lost PZD. The Zofia can't save you anymore, and you're just going to get pre-fired around every corner. Wag's the last alive. Mistake after mistake after mistake. You can't take gunfights when there's so many shields there in front of you. That's literally why they exist. To help the defenders win gunfights. Man!
Yeah, big problem was just trying to clear enough ADSs and taking out the shields that round.
I mean, there wasn't even protecting the castle barricade. You could have just popped that first and gone for the smoke that's sitting on his own.
I do like the strategic aspect of it. If you take a look at that castle barricade on the door, right?
Oh, I completely agree with it.
So,
this is like a strategy that happens so many times.
But what I want to highlight about that is it's only one hit, right? So, that makes it weak. But there's no way for the attackers to do that one hit from outside of the building. You could shoot it all day long, and it doesn't count as a melee punch. Therefore, it's secure for the defender on guns, but allows them to open that door anytime they feel like it. And that's one of the example of like they would have had to waste an entire like Zofia or Ash charge or something on that door or grenade just to clear it, whereas for the defender it just costs one punch. So I like that. I like that. Just those small ideas. Because we weren't sure about that castle barricade in terms of trapping him in, but knowing that he prepped it, that makes a lot more sense. We'll see if they can make up for their previous reading losses so far. That's only been their only loss on defense. If they can shore that up this time, then Team 1 will be looking really good on the defensive half at 4. I mean, a 4-2 is pretty good. I'm not sure that this map leans heavily towards attacker or defender at the moment. But in general, when you ban Thatcher, that is going to give you somewhat of an edge on defense. In theory. Latin America doesn't seem to apply as much as theory, though, in that respect. But again, we get to see Rise carefully crafting these electric claws. So, to make sure those of you at home see how it's done.
If they were playing mining, we would call this mining and crafting.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a new concept for everybody watching. And I think Team 1... Again,
that's why you have to use a diamond skin on your gun.
I understood that reference. But this reinforcement, I don't know if it still works, because I mentioned it before, and it was the case where if the reinforcement, the right side of it, is to the outside, to the attacker side, they're unable to really throw grenades over it. It makes it like a billion times more difficult.
It's just the angle of bounce is different.
And I don't know if it still applies, there's been anything changed to it, but regardless, I would assume that's what Team 1 are going for. Right now, live, there's nobody supporting him.
Against the Ash, he gets wide swung against the Ash.
There's nobody watching the Ash's back, and PZD just now turns the corner. It's like, oh, sorry about that. Oh,
yeah, but
I'm so
really, Radek should not have won that in the
Valkyrie's behind you, by the way.
That was just really slow reaction time from live.
You should not be in there before you've taken control of Piano. Before you do that, it's very risky to go in solo. There's no one to help you. And Falapax is just going to go and deal with all of those tracks.
At the very least, they could have had that window open, though. Oh, Rise just comes out of the freezer, thaws out for just a moment to kill Wag, and goes right back in. Again, another 5-3 advantage, although at least PZD finally punches Rayduct. But the fact that he got the kill earlier and helped soften things up doesn't matter as much anymore. Team 1's still at a huge advantage, especially, again, with Black Dragon's time management that we've seen.
Oh, somehow PZD win the gunfight against Lucas. They lose the Jaeger, they lose the Valkyrie. There's a lot of time left. Black Dragons can recover this atrocious start to a round, but they haven't taken control of the top floor, and this is really the biggest problem. Fellapox is off the site, but he can play with nitros from below if need be. He hasn't used one of his new chambers for some reason, maybe using it to protect himself at some point. Black Dragons are gonna rotate and come on down.
Come on down.
Okay, they're gonna try to push from that pillar's doorway. So PCD is gonna prep himself to cover his teammates and at least prevent Rise from coming up. But if he's lost, this is over. There you go. PZD's down. And because of the split that is present so far for Team 1, I don't see this going their way Black Dragon's way at all. But Lagonis somehow still finds Rise. I don't know how he got the man, but fair enough. Going in for the plant.
Now it's essentially a 1v2 for Hornetau.
You can't deal with him from below, unfortunately, and Fall's gonna have to run on in. The Nitro Cell placed on default, but there's nobody there. Lagonis put it in another end. Falls! God! Ah! There you go. Falls gets one. He's got the shotgun, but so does Hornetau, but he loses it. The smoke is able to win it out, actually, with the SMG-11. Black Dragons try to go for the sneaky plant off of the usual default position, but man, that initial strategy of just going into dining was just...
I mean, it seemed like at the end, though, Team 1 really had trouble getting back to site in time. At the end of the day, though, they had enough manpower. 2v2 was enough, because like I said, it becomes a 2v1 temporarily, so you can only really cover one angle. But losing the fight, shotgun against shotgun was not great there for the buck of Hornetau. 4-1 now, the full cycle been done by Team 1. They did kitchen, then bar, then reading, all in a row. After having done a bar just before that, after having lost reading, or before having lost reading. Fellapox actually going to sneak off the Goyo. They're going to go back down to kitchen, of course, because they're doing the cycle, and they don't want to play mining. Fair enough. Most teams won't. And hey, they made up for their the previous loss on reading. So far, this is going very much in the favor here of Team 1. Despite them being the lower ranked team at the moment, as I said, though, much better record on this map for them. See those Thatcher bands and Maverick bands and things like that listed in there, but looks pretty defensive favored according to the stats. So outside of mining dining, I believe this is Latin America only though, so keep that in mind. Bar cocktail, no surprise to see that heavily favored, but it's only slightly favored for defense on the other two sites. So if they could pull this off again, going into a 5-1 lead, despite being defensive favored map, I think Team 1 could take this win if they can keep this up. We're just not really seeing anything for Black Dragons that gives me a ton of faith. Wag's trying his best, but it's not quite enough. Good Valkyrie camera out here to get a lot of intel on repels. Very likely we'll see a jump out. Then you see the window on White Stairs also prepped. But the nice thing is this also gives you the opportunity to jump out some other sides besides just White. But you saw him, he was on the White Stairs window, just deciding whether or not there was a jump out available for him.
Lagonis is watching and he knows that there's someone around the corner. Reduct, though, has perfect point of view over him. He's actually going to peek. Yes, he will. Lagonis unsure of how to take this gunfight. Is fall. What are you doing, man? What? Why would you do that?
It's mistakes.
Why? Wow. What can prompt you to run into the guy that's sitting right there holding an angle that you can clearly see in two of you? What? Okay, I am going crazy from the first game. I don't know what to do about this, Devin. Usually someone tries to calm me down. I don't think there's enough medication in the world that can do
No, I'm gonna let you loose. You do you.
A bomb has been located.
MH70 in play for the Jaeger. I wonder how this is going to help him now in yellow. It's not that it's a bad decision, it's that it's not...
It's starting to look like a bad decision in a 2v5.
Considering the fact that he was only supposed to hold on to White Stairs, it was a good decision, but now it's kind of not.
Yeah, now he's got to help clutch with it.
Raz going to be able to find one, though, on a PZD, and Hornetau is low on HP.
Oh, well, there you go, the mobile barbed wire strat here. He's going to die with that in his pocket, sticking out of his corpse. Rise, though, on 1 or 2 HP. He was the one with the best gun in this advantage here. Lucian takes a lot of damage just trying to fight these stairs. Now, Rise at least making things more even because look at the health on Black Dragons. Every single one of them could be hit with the M870 at range and still die.
I swear. Oh no, Rise gonna be pushed back and Wog with the finisher. Lucian can stop his opponents.
Hey, he's the best player on this team at least.
He can do it from above with the M870. And he's gonna go for the pickup. No, he's gonna walk around the corner.
Silencer on the pistol though, which is not great right now, but at least will give away less about his position.
He's just gonna be planted 3v1. As you said, it's very possible the M870 can save the day here for him. There's a drone, it's gonna be shot, and it's gonna give a ton of information to the now attacking defender, or defending attackers, I guess. He turns the corner, he gets shot, and Lucian is so low in HP. You're gonna try to pre-fire every angle, fair enough, but they're all running away from you. They know you've got a shotgun. And, well, Bullet's gonna win this one out. Black Dragons, get around.
Still advantage to Team 1 though. Taking it 4-2 is not bad. That was a bit sloppy though. They got a little overconfident. You saw some of those early picks due to some mistakes being made from Team 1. And it cost them dearly. Cost them around. And they definitely could have won that, I think, otherwise. Good clutch attempt though. Grenades was, I believe, what took Maestro down, and that really kind of cost them quite a bit. Looked like there might have been some debate over which site they wanted to go to first, but Kitchen it's going to be. So that should be fun. We're going to see double roam... I don't want to say clear, but constraint, I guess, from the Gridlock and the Nomad together here. Now, the Goyotes, I think, was probably to make them think they're going to be going upstairs to Bar, which generally teams will, but instead going to Pulse. So, I imagine we'll see him playing downstairs. Not as likely upstairs, but you never really know. We'll see players sometimes go for those upstairs plays with the Pulse, just temporarily, with being able to rotate down a little more comfortably. They are going to have the Maestro, or not the Maestro, but the Mozzie as well to lead things. But no Maestro is always a big loss. I don't know. I almost feel like anytime Maestro is available and you're not playing him, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage because he's so good. Like, why not, you know? It's like when Echo's unbanned and it's a map where it works well with him, you just play it. It does mean you need a player who's good at it on your team, of course, because Echo and Maestro are both operators that require good game sense and knowing when to switch to your cams and when not to, because you can really get yourself killed spending too much time on cams. Because one thing people may not realize who don't spend a lot of time doing that is, of course, when you're on your cams, you're not going to hear anything around you. You're not even going to know you're taking damage with the exception of a slight indicator that comes up to show the hit. So you're very vulnerable while on those cams. And both of those operators get ACOG, so you do have some advantage in a fight at long range, but you need to know it's coming. And that's where those cams also benefit you if you set them up to help support your position as opposed to just supporting your teammates. We'll see a top floor clear, it looks like, come out here from Team 1. And then they'll use that their roam denial to really constrain both sets of stairs once they clear the top.
It is very necessary. And I'm not sure...
Well, they won't have both roam denial operators.
I am not sure about walking into that one there. The Nomad usually should just be sitting there and waiting until some drone info is given.
Yeah.
But yeah, you lost one of your drones thanks to that Mozzie, and you're not even running the Ute to combine with them. Falls, you know that there was somebody there who just lost your teammate to them. Jump around the corner and Falls gets blown to smithereens. They're just feeding the Black Dragons machine in this round. And Fellowpox is actually going to go and contest himself. Shotgun's being pulled out here, and it's a 1v1. There's the Gridlock. Oh no, eats all the damage, but there's the finisher. You just lost 2 other dudes there. Why would you do that?
Yeah, he is really just slaying.
And they pushed one more. Rise lasts alive, and not for long. They all siphon into the same position.
So I think
you clear the top floor, you hold the brown stairs rotation, you hold white, you hold red, and from there you can decide to go into reading, but you don't just go in there one by one and get shot in the face.
He really read that attack like a book. It was just they fed him at that point.
Why does this frustrate me so much?
Because it's
like watching my ranked games.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Why did you do that?
Except for these are a lot longer.
Why are you doing it? And I'm sorry if some people are watching right now and they're like, wow, these casters are so critical of everything. Look, I'll admit, we cannot read into exactly what happens in people's brains, especially professional.
I'm only critical of what's not working.
I'm critical of what's happening in front of me, and you cannot justify that in any way, shape, or form. I'm sorry. That is not justifiable at any... If you want Kicks to be here to say it for you to believe it, I'll call him right now. Because, honestly...
Skype him in.
Some people will only believe that, man. You and I were never pros.
Yeah, that's true.
As much as our gameplay would like to say the opposite.
I showed those T-hunts.
You know, somebody actually tweeted at Bibu when they lost their game on Monday, of course. And he's like, you guys really got to warm up. Maybe you guys should be trying more T-hunt warm-ups before your games. I was like, who the hell do you think you're talking to? You know who you're talking to, man? Like, this is a guy that's been playing since before this was real.
Yeah.
Come on.
This was real.
Before this was a thing. I honestly don't get it. Sorry about that rant, but honestly, there's just some things that just boggle my mind, including many things happening in this game as we speak. Though, I like the Amaru play. We saw that before from FaZe in the last week.
It's rare, but it happens. Especially on maps that have some good elevated windows that you want to get into quickly. There's always the balance of timing, though. Do you just immediately go straight on into the building, or do you do a little prep first? And it's like Nook play, right?
Yeah.
Nook play, you can just go straight in and hope you get past everything, but it's better to have a little intel before you decide your approach.
Exactly, and I think that's really the best, because it's the best way of doing it, because if you just keep walking into people, well, you're going to get shot, you know? So especially if you're going to try and do this on Kafe, there's so many tight angles that you have to face and check. There's so many staircases to deal with.
The problem with Amaru, though, is because you generally don't use it inside the building, you can also just repel. You know what I mean? You're giving away a lot more by using Amaru, and in this case, Radek's already dead anyways, so he's not giving away anything except for a corpse. But I can see why it's just generally not that useful, with the exception of a few windows that are very difficult to just repel up and do. And that's the only downside is people rarely use it inside for hatches, and I think because of that, it's not going to get full utility really.
Great Nitro Cell there. Unfortunately, False had just come into Piano, and this is the thing that you have to face if you don't have a pulse that's giving you the information through it.
Yeah.
So, Wag is going to be playing inside of Cocktail, which is unsurprising, but Luke hit a great spot there. It's obviously very easy to deal with him, but because there's so many angles for you to watch for, Live was unable to support him, but PZD's going to dive out. He gets one kill and might be able to rotate back onto the site. Nah, Live gets shot in the back, escaping the Jaeger. There's just so much from Team 1 that just got put on clearing Cocktail, which I think is a very good decision, that they just ended up losing everybody walking into it, including clear on the Jaeger. Luke is going to take down Hornet Tower, and Fullapox will actually finish off Live as
the back and forth.
Try to go down through the tracks, and that didn't work, and it turned into a 2v2.
Well, time still working in the favor of the defenders here if Team 1 can't find some good positioning soon. Nice camera there, looked like it's difficult to shoot.
There's 20 seconds, you gotta walk in. There's 2 frag grenades that you can use, but you have a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
If you could actually enter into reading.
That's the problem, is they're both upstairs right now, and 10 seconds left to do anything about that.
And nobody's carrying the diffuser right now, right?
No.
Yeah, it is. No, Zofia's carrying it, yeah. Quite see it. There's a Zofia shot around the corner. Diffuser's on the floor. You're not gonna be able to recover that no matter what.
The frustration shots there.
And I get it.
Team 1 maintaining their lead. That could have been a tie situation there in terms of being 4-4. But because they picked that up, now they maintain a lead at that 5-3. No, I'm sorry, that was the other way around. Because of time, what am I saying? I had the side switch to my head. It is a tie now because of that. So far, defensive sided here, for sure, in terms of wins. But I do see Team 1 coming closer to being able to pull off these attacks. But to be fair, reading was the weakness for both teams, more so than Kitchen was. We'll see, though. If we go back to Kitchen again soon here, which we will likely have to do because the full rotation. So if they win bar here, they're going to need to go back to Kitchen. Then maybe we'll see Team 1 take that. But
Look,
Team One's attacks have been a bit sloppy.
what I liked about the last round is they actually pushed Cocktail very heavily, right?
Yeah.
You push that part, then you're able to actually lock things down.
You take the map in pieces. You don't just stab at
Exactly.
random points.
Exactly, and that's something that you should be doing. Unfortunately, there was a split drop from Piano Hatch and one that amounted into dropping into Laundry. And pushing from there is very difficult because more often than not, you're dropping when you have in the middle of all your opponents, right? There's always somebody watching around those angles because they're expecting you to actually go in and plant and reading. But you're dropping in between the two, they're going to be able to win the gunfight against you. I don't think that was the wisest decision. It, again, ends up in, hey, we're gonna need to salvage this round somehow because we lost players for no reason. And, well, what do? We're in a bit of a conundrum, and we have to do whatever is humanly possible to recover it, and it might just mean going for frags, however we can find them.
Yeah, well, hopefully Team One doesn't do that, just go for frags this time, and hopefully they take a more organized approach to the map and not bring Amaru, which, like I said, is a fun idea, but not necessarily always the most productive one. I don't think we're going to see, unless Amaru gets some kind of buff, a huge foothold with that meta. But they're at least droning properly first here. They're trying to get some intel before they go into the building, which they need to do, but at the same time, of course, they need to get into the building, which Rise does now. However, he's the diffuse carrier. Should not be sending him in first.
You know, one thing looking back at things with the Amaru pick a couple of rounds ago, it's just, yeah, we want to clear Cocktail. We want to push our opponents through the usage of the operator, right? I get that. In this case, Team One, they change away from it because they realize, like, actually, that's not gonna work too well, surprising our opponents. Maybe more diligent droning would.
Yeah, just doing our job methodically.
I like to switch off to the Capitao. How many times have we seen Capitao banned in general? It's an operator that gets the axe.
Yeah,
many.
I just am always disappointed when it's not banned and I don't see him played. Much like Maestro, he's a very, very strong operator. I understand there are other operators where you can bring utility and smokes if the fire part isn't a huge component for you. But the fact that you can get around ADSs with the smokes is definitely something that is important with how strong ADSs are. I do think this game is going to shape up a little bit more defensive sided too once Wamai is in. Whammy? Because Jaeger already is a strong component of defense. If you could have two Jaegers in some respects, clearing utility will be so difficult.
I can't wait until things happen, how things shape
That'll be
after
very likely after SI.
Yeah.
No guarantee, but Fellapox down already. Not good start here. And look like we'll see Black Dragons potentially take this round as they find another one live. This is on a roll, this match. He gets felled, but you know what? He's done his job.
Yeah, he took down the Buck, he took down the Gridlock. I'm not sure if all the tracks have been used, but it's all through the use of those open holes on the side of the bar. This is a standard position to use, and if you're one to take gunfights, you're more probably going to be winning those because the attackers are so focused on the wall. You keep on firing here as the Maestro, as PZD will confirm the kill. Unfortunately, the tracks are misplaced. They'll be able to drop the diffuser planter on the floor, and Black Dragons secure the last two. Team One falter as they try to salvage yet another round, planting in the middle of the smoke. Unfortunately, they did not have anyone watching through the same locations they walked through. There's always someone that has to walk in from the big bar. There's nobody clearing freezer. There's nobody pushing white. You have to do one of those.
Yeah.
You have to either clear white or push into it or open up freezer and deal with that. And in this case, you have grenades. You have a Buck. Deal with the ADSs.
Yeah.
They tried to, but the mute literally came around the corner and shot into the pre-placed standard hole by
At least
the bar.
it started more methodical, but it was just, like a lot of slip-ups from there.
Devolved.
And then once they lost man advantage, there wasn't as much they could do. Live, though, was a big part of it. Live really did a good job, though. We got to still give credit to him because he's been playing a very good defense, whether it be on the Mozzie as he is now or the mute last round. He's been really putting up a good fight in a way that's really punching fast holes in Team One's attack. And because of that, and the fact that they like to keep feeding him, apparently, really seems to hurt Team One's attacks. I mean, maybe if they got the early kill onto him without losing anyone, so I think that would shift things a little bit, but we'll see. Kitchen will go, but Black Dragons, who were at a huge disadvantage of the 4-2 half, now suddenly 1 point away from guaranteeing themselves a point. And they are ahead of Team One on the leaderboard, so it's kind of important for Team One to get this because they really need the points. They're at 3 right now. They literally only have 1 win's worth of points. That's not great. Rise doing pretty well there. You see him up in double digits, but not enough for his team to be ahead here. Interesting position. You see that position of the Kite Electrical outside to capture some of the walls on the inside. Clever.
Clever girl.
Not hard to shoot, obviously, for the attackers if they spot it. We're not seeing IQ played, for example, very often here. Now, it's funny, he's looking at just near where that electrical is, but the housing of the gun actually covering it. There, he sees it now. He looks straight at it. Luka doesn't realize what he was even looking at, and they completely ignore it. That is really unfortunate. They just Luka looks straight at it as he's finishing his rappel, and just sees a black dot and thinks nothing of it.
But that's why you're opening like parts of the wall.
Thank you, spectator who can't hear us, for showing that. Gets the hatch and gets some walls. But boy, oh boy, is that a bummer. I would think in the future, though, after reviewing this VOD, that Team 1 would be better prepared for that in the future.
You would say you would say that.
I said I would think. I'm certainly not guaranteeing that. I'm not putting money on that.
No.
I don't know how they review VODs though, so who knows? I imagine they'll be with the spectator highlighting it. That even if you're not listening to us in English, it was probably rightly pointed out by people like Melly.
I don't know. You think Melly would be the guy that digs into the strategy?
But you can see what's in front of his face. Apparently, unlike some of the. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it. They're actually doing fine. C4 sounding like it's pre-placed from a different player. Here's Wag still has his in his pocket, but he's calling out for when that's going to be triggered. It looks like it's going to be the C4 from the Kaed.
I mean, it's good play right now from Team 1, right? They have to go up. They have to start destroying the floorboards, though, which is something that kind of surprises me. Has not been happening. As I say it, though, there you go.
There you
Good
go.
timing. We hear an Electro Claw going off in the back, so Lagonis was able to set a new one in position. Naturcell goes out, and perfect teamwork there. Wag giving the information. There's nobody pressuring. So right now, like, Black Dragons can literally do whatever they want downstairs. They can track anybody. No problems whatsoever. Pulse, maybe you should look at cleaning up your thumbs. Otherwise, you're good to go.
Well, it's not doing enough to really repel this attack, but it's certainly helping get the intel that Live needs to continue his reign of terror as he's untouched after killing Rayduck. That's one roam denial operator down, although I can imagine at least one of those air jabs, if not more, was already set up. Luke actually has quite a bit of utility left as well. It looks like he does a lot of punishing to Live, but not finishing the kill. There we go. Thankfully, Rise is there to clean up.
Good one from Rise. Oh no, so close! So close to finding one in the bar.
Two there as well.
They're going to peek him at any point in time right now. There's PCD as well that's ready for him. He keeps on firing, gets one, but Fallapok somehow wins the gunfight before being felled by Wag. It's all up to Rise now in the 3v1. He's in the middle of the site, and his diffuser is in the back pocket. He gets one kill, but you're not going to be able to find more of that. Black Dragons on map and match point here. There was no due diligence. There was just too late on destroying the floorboards. When you actually could do it, you got nitrocelled instantly. Nobody was pressuring from White Stairs. The Legion the entire time was sitting inside of the small bakery and just holding an angle into Red Stairs.
Yeah.
Nobody poking through them there. Nobody also was trying to push in from the lobby. There was no info through that. Brown Stairs was left completely clear. It's like, yeah, sure, you have control of the second floor, but it's not actually giving you any map control because the defenders are still able to run around and
you're bringing two roam denial operators.
Yeah, but I guess the roam denial operators that are brought, what they're doing is blocking the defenders from walking up and contesting through there. But there's other ways of also like.
And the Pulse was really helping with their flexibility as well.
Exactly.
So that was definitely problematic.
The Jackal's going to be brought as a response.
That's a good idea.
I like that, but even
probably going to do more than the Nomad did, to be honest.
Yep. I would assume so.
That's also two sets of smokes between the Gridlock and the Jackal, so hopefully they'll get a chance to use those and not all die first. We'll see them having to fight Reading this time. So those smokes potentially could help for a plant because there's two doorways to cover inside Reading, and we have seen pretty close plant attempts from quite a few attacks. So if they can get those smokes down that way, it will make it very difficult for maybe the exception of a laundry rotate, depending on which angle they cover manually. Or heck, if they've got both Jackal and Gridlock alive, you could see a lot of smokes come out. No warden or anything that could see through the smoke. Not even a Maestro Evil Eye. There could be a bulletproof camera, possibly. Wag actually bringing the barbed wire this time instead of the C4.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
He's playing very aggressive pulse here up on Christmas.
definitely a questionable decision.
Well, as long as he lives through it.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll be seeing like a Jaeger bringing that sort of utility, but I wonder what PZD is bringing.
This is the nice thing about playing Pulse in a way is you don't necessarily have to get kills yourself. You just have to enable him, and he's getting kills himself. So jump out, absolutely paid off. And he's going to be able to get back inside. And he's going to pre-fire, rightly so, because there is players there, but he gets away with it. That's now one set of smokes gone. Lukid not in position to punish it. Mute Jammer actually doing some work as well and helping out Hornetal rotate around from reading into laundry.
Fuse did the run out, but
Oh, Wag just still playing this denial.
he's going to play it solo.
Oh, no. Yeah, he wasn't long for this world. He had a nice pinch on him. He wasn't going to win both those fights with the ump.
There's still 2 nitro cells, I guess, because we were talking about the pulse that didn't have much, but he got a very important kill on the gridlock before Fellapox could really deploy much of his utility or any of it. So those stairs are going to be easier to deal with. If you're Black Dragons, you can walk up them freely. You have to deal with the Jackal at some point, but the Jackal, like, he has to be way closer.
Yeah.
To gridlock. That's a different.
He's not even used his Inox yet. You see 3 charges still there. He has yet to find any footprints.
I wonder if he'll be able to find anybody right now. As the only person that seems to have walked up those red stairs was the Pulse, and even then, I'm not even sure if he walked up through them.
Well, with the Pulse dead either, you're not going to catch any footprints off that.
Yeah. It's all about holding on to white stairs. That's pretty much the entire strategy. There's Black Dragons understanding that their opponents want to walk directly into reading, but there's nobody upstairs. PZD collects Rise for free.
They've opened up so much of reading walls as well. Retakes are going to be pretty easy. Live still continuing to be a huge factor.
Are you actually trying to slow push this with no control over the top floor? You get one, but you're immediately refragged. Doesn't even matter. I don't think so. Falls is last alive. He won't be here for long. He finds one with the shotgun. Still has live. And Laconis to deal with. Turns the corner. We're going to go for the gunfight.
Are we going to see another frustrated skeleton? Nope, Live just... Dip.
Honestly.
Nicely done. Live. Whew.
Team 1, go back to the drawing board.
And they had such a great start. 4-2 on the half. And then just flawless 5 rounds in a row on defense from Black Dragons. Not a single defensive loss. So, Team 1, the ones to ban the Thatcher.
Seems like both teams definitely had many problems trying to deal with Cocktail. This is why we talk about